If you want to learn about a direct vent furnace that's simple enough to install yourself, it's available in propane and natural gas models, and requires zero electricity to run, stick around. We'll get a handle on things. You know, I consider myself to be a very fortunate guy. I have a forced air furnace that provides heat for my house, and I have a wood stove for a secondary heat source in the event that the power goes out. The reason we do that is because I live out here in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes in the wintertime electricity goes out for extended periods of time. Now, I can appreciate that not everybody has the ability to put a wood stove in their house for a secondary heat source. In a lot of places, it's impractical, and in some places, it's actually illegal. But if you don't have a secondary heat source in your house, you're opening yourself up to a real tragedy. In the winter of 2020, we all watched in horror as the power failed in the southern part of the United States and people's houses froze up. You know, some people actually died from that. They froze to death in their house in the southern part of the United States because they had no electricity. It's hard to imagine, but it happened. This direct vent furnace uses no electricity at all, not even a AA battery. Now, don't confuse this with a ventless furnace. Ventless furnaces are intended for use in garages, and they're not allowable by code in places where people actually live or sleep. The reason why a ventless furnace is not allowable in your house is because they dump those combusted gases inside your house. Those gases can build up, and they can actually kill you. So you don't want to play around with that in any way. This is a Williams direct vent furnace. I use this one in our food room, and it runs on propane. The reason why I put this in here is because it requires no electricity to run. It has a standing pilot light, and this particular model runs on propane. But they do have models that run on natural gas as well, if you have natural gas in your area. The reason why we use this in our food room is because in the event the power were to go out, the last thing that I ever want to do is come into this food room and find cans of food and canning jars exploded all over the place because they froze. That would be a really bad thing. I bought this furnace from the big box hardware store in the city near me. They're pretty easy to come by, and this particular one right now I think is selling for about $600. But for between $600 and $1,000, you can get one up to about 40,000 BTUs. Now, unless your intention is to use one of these as a primary heat source for your house, you can probably get by with a smaller model, because if all you're using it for is to provide a backup heat source in the event that power goes out and keep you from freezing to death, 14,000 BTUs is probably enough if you close off a room or two and just heat those rooms. This particular furnace I've had running in this food room for 5 years. And I just set the thing at 65 degrees. It stays at 65 degrees summertime and wintertime. And in that amount of time, it's used about 200 gallons of propane in 5 years. And that's in Wisconsin. If you don't have the skills to install one of these and make sure that you're legal and that you're not going to get anybody hurt with it, please call a furnace guy and ask them if they can install one for you. This video is supposed to help you. It's not supposed to hurt you. Be safe first, okay? This is the outside of the building, directly on the other side of the wall from the furnace. This is the direct vent cover. This direct vent cover was purchased with the furnace. This propane tank was delivered 5 years ago and hooked up to this furnace. It's not been filled since. Now keep in mind they only fill these tanks to 75%. And in 5 years, I've only used 25% of the volume of this tank. Now that is efficiency. And that room is highly insulated, but holy smokes. Well, I hope you got enough information from this video to get you through the next cold spell, even if you have no electricity. We'll put the model number for this furnace in the description down below. And please like and subscribe. You know it helps the channel a ton. And we'll see you on the next video.